Hello, my name's Rusty Fiore, and I'd like to welcome you to Biology 10B. And this semester, we'll be studying the usual content, evolution, ecology, and diversity. But I'd like to introduce you to the marine environment. Standing behind me there is the Great Tide Pool, which you may be familiar with if you've ever read Steinbeck's Cannery Row. This is the tide pool that Ed Ricketts, the character Doc in that novel, spends some time collecting in. He was a real marine biologist, and the reason I've sort of chosen this site and this idea as part of a theme for our class is that Ed Ricketts represents a transition in thinking from an older model of studying nature where you did things in a very methodical, isolated way, where you studied taxonomy. So if you were studying animals, you would study them by phylum, you would study them by class, you'd learn to classify them using observations, and then that would stop. That would be like, oh, we did it. We studied animals and plants and things by knowing their names. Ed Ricketts was a little different. He came up with the idea of studying plants and animals in communities, particularly this one in the background here. He studied a lot of the intertidal ecology, and he classified organisms by where they lived and how they lived together and how they interacted. And so that was a nice next step. That was sort of a 20th century leap. If the 19th century was all about taxonomy, the 20th century began to introduce interactions in ecology. The 21st century now is studying more about how things all work together in a more holistic way. So sort of changing the way our perspective is with regards to studying nature and how we get insights from it. So in this class, I'd like to do a little of all of those. We'll learn some taxonomy and things at the beginning of the class, focus on some ecological interactions and things, and then see what sort of insight we can gain from a holistic perspective. One of the reasons for working in the marine system as part of this class is that it has the highest diversity of animals by far. If you want to do class or phylum level diversity, boy, the intertidal ecology is the place to do it. You can find almost every major phylum, many of the major classes in great abundance in this environment. So as an introduction to diversity, this is a great way to go. In the marine system, you also have a large diversity of different multicellular forms that are at a higher taxonomic level than phylum. Things like the brown algae, red algae, green algae, even some flowering plants live in this zone. All of them are different experiments in multicellular evolution. So there's an abundance of things we could study here. And I just kind of wanted to welcome you to the class and to that sort of major theme that we'll be studying. In addition, we'll be looking at some stuff in terrestrial environments and things around our campus and whatnot. But this is a fabulous and beautiful place that you might study. You may notice in the background, I don't know if you can see them, there's an otter back here. There's a, just past that rock there, there's some harbor seals. It's a fabulous habitat. Anyways, welcome to the class. Look forward to working with you.